Good evening, guys. Well, it could be afternoon wherever you guys are, but where I am, it is evening. I hope you have all had an amazing week. Okay, let me get the charts up so that we can have a little rundown of today. Let me know in the chats how everyone's week has been. I know I don't usually do the live at this time, but we've had to make some adjustments because my little one has been home today. Right, let's get the screen shared. Okay, so let me just go through some of these comments. Naveen, hello. Hey everyone, we're going to do a live giveaway at the end of the session. But yeah, let me know in the comments how your week's been. If there's anything in particular you want me to look at, and we'll run through the trades that I've taken today. So this account has been one of the accounts that I have, but I always find it hard to trade multiple accounts. So this account was actually sitting in drawdown for a while. And as you can see today, we got it back into profit. So I'm happy with that. TJ Babs, oh, amazing. You've had an amazing week. That's good to hear. Let me know, guys, what you guys trade, what your strategy is. It's been 3 weeks, but still didn't receive my account yet. D Sanchez, I don't recognize your name. I don't know what you mean in terms of if you were a winner, but yeah, I don't recognize your name. Look at gold. Yes, we will be looking at gold. I'll show you the trade that I took today. So let's have a little look. Let's start off with gold, shall we? Gold's always a good one to start off with. So I do use trend lines, but trend lines isn't purely my strategy. It's something that I pay attention to in the background. So I always like to start my analysis on the daily time frame. So this is where trend lines obviously come into play. I don't like to necessarily use trend lines on the lower time frames. In all honesty, I stopped doing that a long time ago. So I actually only use trend lines on like the daily, the 4 hour, and I don't even do it on the 1 hour anymore because I just don't think it's necessary. On my last live, I was saying to you guys that yes, trend lines, they're good to see the direction of price overall, but actually the way that I enter the market is always using market structure. So why, on the 1 hour am I adding in something that's not really necessary? But yeah, so this is what I would do starting off. So let's get our trend line. And just so that you guys know, I use the Ray tool, not the trend line tool. So we're going to start at a lowest point all the way down here. And as you can see, this was not a very steep trend line, and gold's just been moving steeper and steeper. So what we do is we start fanning out our trend lines to make them steeper. So the way that I use this tool is I just want the first touch point and the second touch point, and then we just, let the tool basically do the rest of the work. Let's zoom in a little bit just to make sure that this is nice and accurate. Okay, so we still have gone a tad bit steeper than this. This is on the daily, so, we are still, very bullish, but this is the biggest, I think it's the biggest pullback for a long time. All of these moves back in 2003. The last kind of pullback that was as big as that was around last year, 2024. I think this was when Trump actually got elected. But yes, so as you can see, yes, okay, we are moving down, but we had all of these trend lines like, fanned out like this. So even if we do pull back a little bit, you can still look at gold as an overall uptrend. So got to like here, and we've actually can still probably fan this one more time, just because in gold our moves are, it looks like a small move, but they're actually pretty big moves. So let's do our final trend line, which would have been here, and we're literally playing on it right now on the daily. But as you can see, we're really struggling to break past this trend line. We have got that counter trend line, which is basically the trend on the opposing side, which is here. This is a very, very interesting point, guys, because if we break this trend line, we could be looking to come down to this trend line. So this is going to be a really big move. But if we do push to the upside, we could look to go back into all-time highs. So the second thing that I like to do is I like to mark up like key zones. You can call them order blocks. But yeah, I like to call them key zones / order blocks. Again, on the higher time frames, because these are kind of really points of interest for me. But if the area has already been used, it then becomes invalid. So if I just show you guys here, I would have had this area marked up here as my order block, but we've already used it now. So this would have been obviously quite a good area to buy from. We just need some volume to push this up, but we are looking like we completely rejected out from breaking out of this trend line on the daily. So I'm just going to leave it here for now, and we're going to just mark it as daily order block. On the other side, there's not really anything that I'm too interested in. See, this would have been our original kind of key area, which has been used. So I'm just going to mark this as another key zone, because it will just be interesting to see how price really, reacts to it when it comes back in there. But yeah, so key zones are something that I do really like to mark up. Like I said, I don't necessarily just trade just because we're in them, but I do like to pay attention when price come to these areas. Okay, so now we've done what we need to do on the daily. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. So 4 hour, we did have this slight move to the downside, and this is the thing when trading anything in terms of bias on the daily. I actually did take a buy today in gold, but yeah, let me just show you guys. Let's just show you how I would analyze the 4 hour. So we had this break to the downside here. The reason why I wouldn't just take a sell is because of market structure. So as you can see, yes, it does look like a downward trend, but the daily, was really rejecting from this area the last few days. So I wouldn't just want to just enter based on a 4 hour breakout. We'd want market structure to continue down, and this is basically what happened. It just ended up coming back up, and now we're in a bit of a range again. And personally for me, I don't really like trading gold when it's like in a bit of a range. So I took a buy earlier, but that was about it. And I'll show you exactly why I took that. So now just looking at it on a 4 hour. So we had this potential key zone up here, which has already been used. So it may actually become invalid. I personally don't like using order blocks if they've already been used, but I kind of leave it there as areas of interest anyway. But yeah, so just looking on the 4 hour now, we do have this order block here. So let's just mark this up as the 4 hour order block, and it hasn't been used yet. So this is going to be an interesting area to see if we do reject of it, or we can maybe look at some type of breakout. But yeah, so apart from that, there's nothing really else in terms of key zones. Like I said, if you understand market structure, and I'm just going to show you guys a little diagram of what I'm talking about. Market structure, we got the extension, we got the pullback, extension, pullback, and then the extension. So we would have seen the extension. Now, what I would want is to be entering in the pullback. So you can see this downward trend line. You don't want to be taking your sales down here. You want to be taking your sales at the pullback. So we saw this. This was the extension. Now what we want to do is we want to wait basically for price to pull back. And this is where I would use top-down analysis to understand where, price is pulling, how long price is going to pull back to. But some people like to use like Fibonacci tools. This is something that I am introducing slowly. But yeah, so for me, taking a sell, I would have said no to that. But if we have a look at the 1 hour, so it's a little bit annoying because on TradingView there is a indicator that marks up the highs and lows of Asia. So just before I get into this, I'm just going to quickly go through some of these comments. Sorry guys, let me just have a little read. A good end of the week. Oh, amazing. That's good to hear. Everyone's had a good week. Naveen says best until today. Oh, let me know what's happened in the comments, Naveen. I've had a good week actually. Hi, it's 3 weeks. Like I said, D Sanchez, I don't recognize your name. Trade gold, NAS, and Bitcoin, my strategy as ICCC. Yes, so you will understand the continuation model on the lower time frames if you trade ICC. Winner of 2 weeks ago. Yes, Peter, you should have already received your account, and it's a perfect shot. Gold played the daily trend line today. Yes, it completely rejected off the trend line. TJ Babs, did you take a buy? Many people haven't received their accounts from multiple lives, so wait till Tuesday. Andre will take care of them. Who hasn't? I don't know what you're talking about, Naveen, in terms of loads of people haven't received their accounts. Nice trend line. Oh, hello, Mon. It's good to have you here again. Yes, okay, Peter. We got that lower high there, so yes, interesting to see what happens. Guys, you don't need to tell me that you were just a winner. SB King, hey. So in total, I've taken 3 trades today. What time frame do you trust the most for entries? So I actually do use the 5-minute and the 15-minute. I do like confirmation on the 15-minute. What's one lesson the market's taught you this week? I think one lesson that I would say is honestly patience, and you don't need to trade a lot to be successful. I haven't traded twice this week and I've been profitable this week, so it doesn't, and I still had one red day, so I managed to only trade 3 days, have one losing day, and then one like winning day. You don't need to force trades, guys. Like, this is the thing. the biggest tip that I can give you, and this is what my mentor says to me now, is if you can manage your emotions, you'll be a good trader. He never even really massively says that, talks about fundamentals and technicals. It's all about being able to manage your emotions. What an indicator can you not trade with? I don't really use indicators. I do, saying that, I do like the indicator on TradingView, which basically just shows the highs and lows of Asia, but I'll mark them up ourselves. See sales below 4009. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely, like I said, we're literally on this trend line. If we do break below, and we are at this area here, so I would want to see it come down a little bit more. I find it tough to trade gold this week. Yeah, so guys, as well with gold, like, look at it. If it's looking messy, don't try to force it. There's other things for you guys to be able to trade. This is something that I always used to do. I used to be so fixated on gold. Now I trade gold, silver, NQ, and I look at GBP USD and Euro USD. So I've always got something else to look at, because sometimes with gold, it really promotes a lot of emotion, and when gold is ranging and it's bouncing from place to place, this is quite dangerous to trade. Okay. Yeah, gold was consolidating 4 hour. Do we say water? Okay. How do you feel control your cyber market without tapping order block drop from just to okay, so calm night. If you miss your entry by 2 to 3 pips, like this is where the real skill comes in, guys. This is what really makes you a good trader compared to just one of, those beginner rookie traders, is being able to manage that emotion. That is showing crazy strength in your emotions. And that is what is going to make you a good trader. There is always another setup, guys. How many times have you thought, oh my God, that is the biggest move ever, I've missed it? And then the next day you get another setup. Okay, just remember that is not the only setup. One trade isn't going to change your life. But then, if you then start to overtrade from then, just it's all about small consistent wins. One trade isn't going to change your life, so don't worry about missing it, because I promise you there's going to be another one. And you probably traded long enough to know that there is always another one, because it's happened multiple times, when we miss a trade and then we feel that way. But I feel your pain. The other day, my TP, it was like 1 pip away from hitting, and then it just dropped and hit stop loss. So I was like, oh, like, part of me was like fighting with myself. Should I just take profit? It basically is there. And then I decided to wait, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to follow my rules. And yeah, like, and this happened this week, to be fair, I think. Oh no, actually it happened last week. And then this week, I've followed my rules. That includes where my TP is, and holding has paid off. So sometimes it's not going to pay off, sometimes it's going to pay off. So, sometimes your order block or your position is going to pay off for you waiting. Other times it's not. You just have to be able to accept that. Okay. Yeah, most people have not received their account. Andre is offline. Instead of Potter. Right. Let's keep this to trading stuff only. You're literally distracting me from my flow. Quality over quantity, 100%. Try to be tricky. Yes, exactly. Be picky with your trades. Peter, I've sent your stuff over, so there's not anything really that I can do. I'm pretty sure, I thought you had messaged me saying that you had received the account, but yeah, I've definitely sent your details over. What's your risk per trade ratio? Nothing more than 1%. For me, especially trading with prop firms, I like to risk 0.5. It just gives you a little bit more room, because remember, guys, losses are part of it. You have to realize that you are going to take losses. No, what helps you stay patient while waiting for setups? Not fixating. You know, being patient. Focus on other things that you can focus on. You know, I'm sure many of you have full-time jobs. When you're being patient, just have in the back of your mind that as a trader, we get paid to wait. You know, this is for a lot of people is the hardest thing, being patient, because everyone wants instant gratification. But actually, if you want real success, you have to delay your gratification. I promise you, it will come. But if you have the attitude of I just can't work on these things, then you're just gonna go round and round in circles. BTC, that's not really something that I trade, to be honest. Do you trade better when you're guys, you don't want to be trading when you're excited. Don't trade when you're excited. Jesus Christ. Like, what you want to be doing is trading just with basically no emotion. You want to be calm. You don't want to be overconfident. You don't want to be underconfident. You just want to be neutral. What motivates you to keep improving as a trader? Money. That's what motivates me to keep improving. Money, guys. I use a trend line with the relative strength index. Okay, amazing, amazing. How do you avoid revenge trading after a losing streak? Ask yourself, when the emotion of revenge trading comes up for you guys, ask yourself what it is that is really, really triggering that. Are you putting your worth into that trade? Do you now feel worthless because you've lost a trade? Now you've got to prove yourself. Are you trying to prove yourself? There's a deeper reason as to why we do these things, and that's what you guys got to work on. That's what you guys got to think about. One of the things that I see a lot, really, really common in trading, is the whole revenge trading, and having that attitude of, right, I need to prove myself and I need to show whoever. But I'm a massive believer, guys, of the way that you trade is a reflection of who you are. So let me give you a little example. If you're someone that really, really struggles to take rejection or criticism in real life, you're probably going to struggle when you take a loss or you go on a losing streak, because it makes you feel an emotion that you don't want to feel, maybe worthless or not good enough or frustrated. Like, whatever the emotion is, go deep into as to why you feel those feelings and work on healing those things, because like I said, it is just a reflection. The way that you trade is a reflection of you in your life and how you deal with situations and how you deal under pressure and how you deal in negative situations. Also, redefine what a loss is. A loss to me is just a lesson. A loss to me is an expense, just the same way as if I was to have a business, there's expenses. I can't make money without having to make expenses. You can't have wins without having to take losses. So understand why you are having that losing streak. Stop just going round in circles. Actually dig a little bit deeper. Okay, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent here on the mindset stuff, but let's just I want to break down the trade that I took this morning. So what day is it today? It is the 21st, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to mark up Asia highs and lows. So to show you guys, what time does Asia start? Let's just say starts around here, doesn't it? Then we got the highs. Then we got the kind of got the lows around here. So that's the 7 a.m. Yeah, so I basically used a liquidity concept, And also the fact that when we were looking at this, the 4-hour had extended down. Okay, where were we? No, that's, oh gosh, the timings on here always really confuse me because it's different timings to my timing. um, but yeah, so 4-hour. This is where was it? Yeah, so this was the move that I got. This kind of move up here. But the reason why I entered the buy was because I use this bias starting on the 1 hour. So like I said, we did the top down analysis. We're looking at the daily. We're looking at the fact that we're kind of rejecting off this trend line. We're really struggling to break this trend line. Yes, we have extended in a downward trend on the 4-hour, but we could potentially get a pullback move. So that means just going against the trend. And what I would want to see is something else to help me with that bias. So, this liquidity concept of the highs and lows of Asia is basically saying that we have liquidity at the highs and lows of Asia. Let's see what happens when we respond and get to those areas. So, the 1 hour for me, because this is a smaller, like it's kind of like a day trade, I'm happy to go off the 1 hour. So we wait for the 1 hour to react basically to either the highs or the lows. And we get this reaction here where we tap out and we also tap into this key zone here as well. And we reject straight back into the zone. So when this closed here, this is now when I'm happy to either use the 15-minute or the 5-minute, which I actually use the 5-minute because like I said, we're going against the trend. I want to be kind of getting in as soon as possible. So I remember seeing all of these wicks down here. We basically waited on the 5-minute for 5-minute bullish structure. So once we broke out of this consolidation here, which was, we had a break here. So if we have a look here, we got in for, I didn't go in this trade for that long, to be honest. So I had my stop loss on the other side of these lows. I didn't go all the way down to the wicks because I felt like, we'd already kind of wicked down into these areas already. But I actually just played it to a 15-minute. So I just looked at a 15-minute key zone, order block, whatever you want to call it. And this is what I used for my target. So I could see here that we had, this kind of big extension, big push down. So I basically played this trade to, oh no, sorry, not there. Here. So I wanted to see how price would react to here. Like I said, at this point, it was either, it's very, very subjective. I was purely choosing to take a trade, not a long-term position, because I was technically going against the 4-hour trend, and the daily was struggling to actually give me a real bias. So that was my trade on gold today, which was fine. This is a 50K account, so I made just above 0.5% on the account just on this trade. Yes, if I held it and it would have gone up higher, but yeah, that wasn't my intention. I just wanted to kind of come in and out. And that's another little bit of advice that I would give to you guys. Like, make sure you fully understand what type of trade you're taking, because I think this is where people can get really confused. Like, in my head, I'm going against the trend. I'm not going to be greedy. Yes, okay, we have kind of reversed, and it was a 50-50 chance of us reversing off of the trend line. Because it's a daily, you're not going to know until the end of the day. So there was no real bias on the daily. The 4 hour was bearish, so I was going against the trade doing this. So I was happier and more confident just going in, having like a realistic target, making my 0.5, and not being greedy all the time. Like, guys, greed is something that has really, really taken a lot of profit away from me. And you think you're greedy because you want more profits, when actually the more greedy you are, the worse it actually becomes in trading. You just lose even more money. So yeah, let me go through some more of these comments. Thank you so much for your questions as well, guys. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Okay. What is your biggest mistake? Oh, I don't really see things as mistake, guys. Like, this is the thing. You've got to redefine the mistakes, the losses, because for me, they're nothing but lessons. You're never going to learn as much as you learn at the top as you will at the bottom. So I don't see things as mistakes. There's not a lot of things that I see as mistakes. The only things that I see as mistakes is maybe not doing things sooner, not believing in myself sooner, not, like more stuff like that. Not really anything that I can um yeah, mistakes is a funny one, because I wouldn't really change anything, but some of the lessons that I would say, for you guys to learn from, some of my biggest lessons are, I would say my biggest lesson is that trading is get rich slow. Like, just sometimes ignore what you see on social media, because you don't know how many years someone has put into it. You don't know their circumstances, the way that they learn. You know, comparison is the biggest killer to success, and also just sometimes these people aren't even living the lives that you believe. So don't let it cloud what's real. So my mentor, who is a family friend, like, he has traded his whole life for like 45 years. He owned a hedge fund, has managed 5 billion pounds, worked in it as an executive in JP Morgan. Like, he's done this, and he was telling me that 5% a month is incredible, and he's there managing 5 billion. So he was just like, is the expectations, yes, you can make a lot of money, but to keep that as a consistent thing, doing 100x, 200, all the stuff that you see online, it's just not something that's sustainable. And if it is, you've got to be able to um have a very high stress tolerance, and you probably got to be someone that can work very, very well under pressure, where actually most of us are in fight or flight when we're trading. So yeah, just don't compare your journey. Okay, what's your biggest mindset weakness and strength? Mindset weakness is definitely comparing to other people, letting others influence myself, and I think this is human nature as well. So this is something that I've been working on really, really deeply, and really, really thinking about, and doing a lot of healing work so that I can move forward. My biggest strength is that I'm so open-minded. I'm never closed off, and I'm always willing to be a student. I'm more than happy to be the dummy in the room, basically, because I will never be that person that thinks they know it all. Like, I just don't. I think those people only go so far, and if they are going really far, they're probably lying. Because yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I have a very, very strong mind in that sense, and also that I'm just very resilient. That's probably the other thing that you definitely need in trading. You need resilience. Let me tell you that. I have cried over missing trains when I get started. Yeah, but I think we've all cried because of trading at some point. Bull Bears, hello, hello. Nafimi, yeah, right, Doey. I'm not too sure what you're saying. Yeah, right, too. Do you prefer trend trading or reverse setup? So with the trend lines, I actually never take those bounce off. I don't trade with the trend lines. I use them more as an indicator of a reversal. Which asset do you think will be most volatile today? I'm not really sure like today in particular, but I mean gold is always volatile, I think. What chart pattern do you trade the most? Trust the most? Just basically standard market structure. So understanding the pullback, the extension, understanding how to use the lower time frames and that continuation model to understand when the pullback is over. That's probably something that I use in anything. Even, the trade that I took here was based off multiple things, but the way that I always enter is basically based off market structure. So that is like the thing that I trust through and through. How many trading rules do you have for yourself? I have a system. Well, I have a model. As I've become more experienced, like there's things that I pay attention to that maybe I didn't pay attention to before, just to refine my trades to get them at more as a high probability setup so that I'm not always just working with numbers basically. But yeah, I do have, strict system. I don't have a strict system with how many trades that I take if the opportunity arises, but I'm now starting to learn to become very, very aware when I am emotional. Because if I am emotional, there is absolutely no point trading. That is when I will call it a day. So even today, and I'm not always talking about negative emotions. I'm talking about positive emotions as well. Like I across two accounts, I think so on this account today we made, and this is only a 50k account as well, so like just, oh, my math is so bad, guys. Like around 1300, something like that. So relatively a good day. We've done over 2% on this account. On my other 100k account I did 1.5%, so that's 1500. I actually stopped training at this point, not because of negative emotion, but because of positive emotion. Now feeling invincible, now feeling overconfident. This is just from experience. Like, you want to be trading neutral. If you are feeling overconfident, this is where you can give back a lot of profits. Which assets, what's one piece of advice you'd give to newer traders? Okay, for newer traders, educate yourself, guys, but don't get wrapped up in trying to do it all at once, because technically all strategies work, just not all at the same time. Find someone that you resonate with. Find someone that you feel comfortable asking questions, because if you don't feel asking questions to that person, then you're not going to learn. Like one of my students, she asked me non-stop questions, whereas a lot of the others, they're too sometimes I can feel like they're too scared to be asking all the questions. So just find someone that you really resonate with, the way that they trade, the way that they teach, and don't be afraid to invest into your education, because none of us are really self-made. You got to decide what's more important, money or time. For me, I've always been an entrepreneur, so I understand that actually time is more precious than money. I would rather pay someone than wait 10 years to to learn something myself. I'd rather just pay someone and learn quicker. That's in my honest opinion. Like, just be open to being a student, but also, like I said, just decide what's more important to you, time or money. For me, money is something that I can constantly make. Time is not something that I can get back. But yeah, don't try and do every single strategy all at the same time. That's probably a bit of advice for you. Okay, I want to look at, so I took a trade in Euro USD. Let's have a little top-down analysis on this, and then I'll answer some more. Oh my gosh, I've been yapping for 45 minutes. Okay, we'll do this relatively quickly. We've had a good session today. You guys have come with very, very good questions. But it does seem a lot of the questions that you guys have for me are based on mindset, which tells you, I suppose, as a trader, that the hardest thing to trading is your mindset, not necessarily the strategy, right? Okay, so let's just get our trend lines up here. So on the daily, we did break this trend line. So we have been slowly but surely moving in a downwards trend. So we had this move here. It was like this. So when I entered this, I saw this very much as a bearish market. So once we break the trend, what I like to do is I just move my trend line outwards like this. So when I moved that outwards, we had kind of like this break down here. We had already broken out, but I wanted to get a shorter position, get in on this. Does look like we do need to have a little bit of a pullback though. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. 4 hour giving us that bearish structure. As you can see here, this was an area of interest on the 4 hour here because it hadn't actually been tapped into. But if you look at it, even when we don't respect it, what it tends to do is then you can use it as an area to then sell from. So we've got our 4 hour steeper trend line like this. Okay, so for me, when we when we came on to charts this morning, it was around over this side here. So to me, it very much looked like we were just in a bit of a pullback. So we have our 4 hour highs up here, this whole area here, kind of your 4 hour high. So I assumed that we could have a pullback anywhere in this range. But I wanted to, the way that I got in, again, was using the Asia highs and lows as a liquidity concept. So let's just get rid of this box here. So let's have a look at the 1 hour. Right, so the 1 hour, we have all of this like choppiness here. Right. Now I just need to work out the Asia highs and lows. Always confusing me these times. Right, okay, so this is, yeah, the lows down here. Somewhere. And obviously that would have been highs up there. Okay, so yeah, when I came on, it would have been around here. This was Asia highs, sorry. We got this initial move. So my overall bias was bearish. So I already had that kind of bias. I was just waiting for that added confirmation on something to give me my entry. And here we have it. So we had all of this kind of, rejection. We had this range happening, this consolidation, but really struggling to break above it. Like I said, if we look on the 4 hour, the high is all the way up there. We're looking to have a pullback. We have this trend line here, and it kind of, was really struggling. So with this trade here, we waited for the reaction, which was a break above, but then a rejection back in. So once we got that rejection back in, I actually then just waited on the 5 minute, which you would have seen here, 5 minute breaker structure back to the downside, um, which is here. I just took this on the breakout, stop loss above the highs, and because this was like my, you know, bigger, my bigger, my bigger picture trade, I wanted to play it basically to a potential area, like key area on the daily. So we have an area here, and as you can see, we literally tapped in and completely rejected it back out. But this is where I had my TP. So it was a really, really nice trade. I did have to be patient. Did take me majority of the day, but just held, and it really paid off. So pretty much the same concept. You know, we're literally always starting on the daily, trying to get that overall bias understanding. You know, like I said, I don't always trade with the trend because I am a day trader. I don't mind coming in and out of trades, but I have to have that confirmation maybe of like liquidity concept or just market structure in general. But yeah, we're always entering in the same way. You're waiting on like the 5 minute, 15 minute for that confirmation of your bias. Okay, so let me. Do you prefer trend? Oh, I think someone's already asked me that. Are you married? No, I'm not married. Um, are you trading based on fundamentals or technicals today? So I'm a technical trader, guys. I wouldn't say I'm a fundamental trader. Yes, I do pay attention to when there's significant news and things like this, and I speculate like the rest of us. But it's not really something that is part of like my actual trading plan. Okay. She has 14 kids. She has 14 kids. You asking, are you married? That's a bit rude saying I have 14 kids. Um, um, M for loss. Right. Okay. That literally just pushed me straight to the bottom there. Right. Okay. I'm gonna do the giveaway now, guys. But yeah, thank you for the guys who are, you know, keeping it keeping it to trading, not making me lose my flow by asking me silly questions. But yeah, I had amazing questions for you guys from you guys, so thank you very, very much. Right, we got 3 winners today. So our first winner will be, here we go. Okay, FX Africa 00. FX Africa 00. FX Africa 00. Congratulations. You are our first winner. Um I did see you here, so I'm assuming you will claim your prize. C for candles. You guys are funny. Okay, so our next winner. Oh yes, you have claimed FX Africa 00. You are first winner. Oh, nearly dropped my phone. Oops. Okay, second winner goes to. Here we go. Iron. Iron? Oh my god. Iron. Sorry. Iron. Iron Man. I I am such a div sometimes. Iron Man. Guys, can you just make your like usernames easier? It's so annoying to type all of this out. Iron Man, something like that. Okay, so last winner of this week goes to, congratulations to the two winners, two of my first winners, and the final winner is, here we go. Okay, TJ Babs. TJ Babs. I don't know if you're still here actually, because I feel like I haven't seen your comment for a while. TJ Babs. So if he or she is not here, then oh, there you are, TJ Babs. Yes, that's our third winner. Okay, guys. So for our winners, how you claim your prize is just message me on Doey Trades on Instagram. Just make sure you are only messaging my main account, which will have the blue tick. No other account is mine, so just be wary of that. But thank you so much. Yes, you're here. Get out. But yeah, Iron Man, TJ Babs, and FX Africa, congratulations and thank you all so much for tuning in. I feel like that actually went very, very quick. Today we had loads of questions firing. I appreciate you all. So we'll be back again next Friday. Have the most amazing weekend, guys. Remember to trade safe in the week, control those emotions, and you'll definitely go far. But I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.